So let's talk about reinventing yourself. Why do people reinvent themselves? How do they reinvent themselves? And how do they come to the conclusion that reinvention is the necessary steps to take forward? When you're considering reinventing yourself, you need to think about whether or not it's reinventing that you want to do, and if reinvention is really for you. So today, if you haven't yet, we're going to be talking a little bit about reinventing yourself and the excitement, the steps, the dread sometimes that it takes in order for you to become the person that you need to be. Think about it. Steve Jobs, right? Let's think about Steve Jobs. Let's put him into perspective really quick. He invented the first iPhone. But with the second one, then he rebranded it. He reinvented it. But he didn't change the original concept of the phone. He just simply added to it, made a couple tweaks and suggestions, which is how we got to the phones that we're using today. Now, it's the same concept. It's the same phone at its core, right? But there's software updates, there's tech updates, there's hardware updates. It looks different than the first phone. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today when it comes to reinventing yourself, because it is so exciting to be able to reinvent yourself and rebrand yourself as a new person. But at the end of the day, the core is still the same. Now, when I think about reinvention, I also think about identity work. And there's a lot of themes that we're going to get into today's video, but I'm going to stop there and introduce myself. Hello, it's your girl Stephanie, but you can call me Stephanina because we're back again with another video. And in today's video, as you can tell, we'll be talking about reinventing yourself in the new year in 2025. If you haven't kind of thought about that already, or if you're listening to this and it's about to be 2026, 2027, whatever it might be, I love that for you. And we're going to talk about that today. Now, if this is your first time seeing my face, hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Stephanie, like I said, and I am a personal development, lifestyle, and travel content creator. And I would love to have you part of the family. So do me a favor and hit that like button to suggest to the algorithm that this is a good video for other girls like you or people like you to watch to help them on their personal development journey. And hit that red button. You don't got to hit it right now, but if at the end of the video you find that you like that, you vibe with this, you vibing with me, go ahead and hit that red button for your girl and help out our community. We are on the road to 400 subscribers, y'all, so I would love to be there by the end of the quarter. So we got a little bit of a ways to go, but I am so excited to hopefully have you part of the family. So if you're returning, thank you again for all of the love. I really appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing your support. So let's go ahead and get into reinventing yourself in 2025. So let's talk about why reinvention really matters. Now, reinvention matters because this really allows us to grow, adapt, and really align ourselves with the best version of ourselves, grow into who we are really meant to be at our core. So the first thing is going to be growth and progress. And over the years, we grow, of course, we evolve, and we change into the people who we are today. And in order for us to grow, we do have to become different versions of ourselves in order to meet the goals and to continually progress into the people, the women that we are trying to become in today's world. I can't be the same person that I was at 16 with the goals that I have today. Second, talking about rediscovery of your purpose, right? The goals that you had last year might not align with the goals that you have this year. You might have come to those goals and you accomplished them and got there and realized, this is actually not what I want at all. And that's perfectly fine. That's actually beautiful because that allows you to recenter yourself, realign yourself with different goals and your purpose that you feel like are more aligned with you, which are going to help you come to a different conclusion or a different version of yourself that you need to become in order to be the person that you are wanting to be in life. The third thing is overcoming limitations. And the reason that I say this is because sometimes we limit ourselves. Of course, we all have limiting beliefs that we need to break free from. from, but sometimes that literally requires an identity shift. So with that identity shift, you are reinventing yourself and becoming a new person that you otherwise would not have been if you weren't able to break through those patterns, those habits, those beliefs in your head that you had when you weren't able to see that all the way through. So overcoming limitations is incredibly important when it comes to reinventing yourself. And that has a lot to do with identity work as well. Who do you want to be? What kind of goals, what kind of habits does she have? Who is she at her core? So that is a very important part when it comes to reinvention. And that's really why a lot of people reinvent themselves in the first place, is because they realize that they have habits that don't quite align with the person that they want to be. So in order to break out of those habits, they have to literally shift identities. So for example, let's say they didn't like reading. For the longest time, hated reading. They grew up and their parents used to force them to read a book every night or read a couple pages every night before they went to bed. But all they could remember was just being really tired and just didn't really want to read before they went to bed. They just wanted to go to bed. So now they have, kind of had a disdain towards reading and haven't picked up a book since they moved out of their parents' house. But now they're trying to get into a more evolved version of themselves. However, that's not possible for them until they break the belief in their head that they don't like reading. So in order to become a different version of themselves, now they have to believe, okay, I enjoy reading. Reading is for me. I am a reader. From shifting their mindset from that to I am a reader, I enjoy reading, now that it's an entirely different identity. And with that different identity, now they're able to actually start to pick up a book, even if it's just, 2 pages a day. Now they have taken on the persona of I am a reader, and they overcame those limitations that they thought or that they were holding on to in their head. And lastly, the last thing I want to touch on is being an inspiration to others, right? We've all seen those people who we knew them in middle school and they're a completely different person than they are today, which is beautiful, right? People do grow and they evolve, but them being able to reinvent themselves really allows us to be able to know that it's possible for us as well. So whenever we see somebody who's reinvented themselves and they are completely different and they act different, they speak differently sometimes, their vocabulary is just more evolved, then you're like, you know what? Maybe I should go through a personal rebrand myself. Maybe there's some habits that I want to kick out and start to get better at. So those are some of the reasons why a lot of people reinvent themselves. But now I'm going to go ahead and jump into kind of like how. What are the necessary steps that it takes in order to get from point A to point B? So the first thing I want you to do is reflect. For me personally, I had to reflect on what my 2024 looked like. I went back to my vision board and I literally was like, okay, what went well last year for me? What didn't go so well last year for me? The things that went really well, I would say that last year was the most consistent I have ever been with my fitness journey. And I did a really, really good job of staying consistent, staying in the gym, eating right. I say that like with a slight in the voice because there was some times, you fall off, you get back on, you fall off, you get back on. But I will say last year was the most consistent I've been in terms of my eating habits, my fitness, working out habits, staying on top of my goals as far as fitness is concerned. I was able to lose like 10 pounds, which I didn't even realize until it came to the end of the year. And I was looking back and I was like, wow, I didn't even realize that I lost the weight, because to me, that wasn't really my goal. My goal wasn't to lose weight. My goal is just to get in the gym and to get consistent. So I was really happy about that. And that is one area of life that I was like really proud of. So that is not a version, or that's not something for me that I feel like I need to reinvent this year. That's something that I feel like I just need to stay consistent and stay steady on top of myself about making sure that I keep those habits up in 2025. Now, I will say, looking back at last year in my vision board, some of the things that I felt like weren't aligning with the person that I wanted to be were my intentions towards being a business owner, an entrepreneur, a content creator. So I will say that is all about intention, right? Last year, I had a very, very heavy intention on being physically fit, on getting physically fit, And that intention still carries over to this year for sure. But I will say the intention was there more for my fitness than it was for me to be a content creator or for me to be a business owner. And this is what I mean by that. So, every year, of course, we make vision boards. If you don't make a vision board, that is completely fine. I definitely suggested, I made a whole video on how to make a vision board that works for you. But for those of you who aren't very visual in that sense, I would definitely suggest journaling about the goals that you have for the next year, or even just talking through it. Like, open up your audio app and just talk through it and, vocally hear yourself talk through some of the goals. So those are some different ways that are different from vision boards that will work for you as well. But as far as making that vision board goes, I will say that the intention behind me being an entrepreneur, a content creator, was not as set as me being fit. So with that, I say I did not make a lot of progress towards that goal. Now, let me be honest with you guys. To be honest, last year on YouTube was my best year on YouTube yet. I was not as consistent as I wanted to be. I was off and on. However, it was still my best year yet. So it leads me to believe if I were to be consistent and on top of that intention to be a content creator, to be an entrepreneur, to have my own business and take action towards that intentionally every single day or every single week at least, then the success that I would have gained would be by far greater than what I did gain. Now, I am very, very grateful for the success that I had on YouTube last year. I definitely became more consistent towards the end of the year for sure because I was being more intentional about it. But as the year as a whole, from like January to December, there was definitely gaps, but also seeing the success that I had without being consistent gave me like a fuel, like it added fuel to the fire to be like, girl, like, what would have happened if you were consistent? Like, you would have done so much better. But I'm grateful to see the progress that I made without being consistent, because that tells me in my mind, okay, so just imagine if you were consistent and the success that you would gain from that consistency. So, imaginary tuck of the hair behind the ear. I just wanted to share that with you guys because you need to get clear about, okay, what's going well, what's not going well. And because of what's not going well and what is going well, we need to focus on how we're going to use that to reinvent ourselves in the next year. So how are we going to reinvent ourselves for 2025? Using what we just kind of learned. To be honest, I was listening to a podcast the other day. Shout out Balanced Black Girl. You the greatest. I love you, Les. And she really helped me to think through how to structure a rebrand. So this is what I want you to do. If you are listening on your drive home, you're sitting at home, whatever, wherever, think about the 3 words. 3, just 3, only 3, 1, 2, 3, no more than 3, okay? 3, 3, 3. We love threes over here. 3 words that you want to embody. And I'll go through like a quick list right now. Smart, playful, radiance, ambitious, resilient, studious, well-dressed, put together, even though that's technically 2 words, empowered, abundant, happy, intellectual, informed, curious, knowledgeable. You guys get the gist, okay? So even pause it and just like think about it. Like think about who you want to be. We're going to use those 3 words to establish a framework for the reinvention process that you're going to take on this year. So for me, my 3 words are scholarly, presidential, and radiant. You know, it took me a minute for these words to come to me, but once they came to me, it was like a light bulb went off. And I thought about it because I want to embody all 3 of those so deeply that people look at me and just think, oh, she's a very well-educated person. She gives off a very kind of like a boss-like energy, not like big boss girl, but like just a leader, should I say. Just very a leader's energy. You know, this is the person that you look to, not necessarily for answers, but, you know, someone to help guide you. And then radiant, just because you just want to be, I just want to be a little bundle of joy. I just want to be happy. I want to emit happiness and spread that cheer to everyone that I encounter. And I just want there to be enough to go around. Like, I think the sun is very radiant, right? We can all agree that the sun has a radiant personality if the sun was a person, right? But you get what I'm trying to say? That light shines on everybody so much so that there's so much to give all the time. So those are the 3 words that I chose, and we're going to jump into scholarly first. Now, the reason that I chose scholarly is just because I had a goal this year to read at least 2 books a quarter. Now, I'm halfway through my first book. After, like, you know, you read a little bit and you're like, oh my God, I just want to read more. I want to read more. I want to gain more knowledge. I've always enjoyed school. I'm definitely a person who just enjoys learning. I have a very curious personality. Me and ChatGPT are best friends, okay? I will be driving and I'll, you know, click chat, do the voice thing, and we'll have a whole conversation just because my mind is always wondering. It's always curious about new things to learn, possibilities, like whatever comes to my mind, I want to know about it. Some might say curiosity killed the cat, but the cat is still standing and she's bad, okay? I say that to say that that is how I want to embody a scholarly type of energy. I want to be somebody who's very well educated, and to do this, I'm going to make sure that I stick to my 2 books a quarter, and I'll give myself a bonus if I read a 3rd book in the quarter, because, you know, I kind of already planned out my books for the entire year, but there's still some books in the queue that I'm looking to go ahead and add in there. So I want to make sure that I stick to my 2 books a quarter. I'm really looking to enhance the things that I know about my work. So I'm looking to get more into the digital marketing space. And so, of course, I'm going to be looking at courses, rereading or rewatching the courses that I've already bought, really asking mentors and looking for people to help guide me along my digital marketing journey. New skills that I'm looking to pick up, certificates and things like that, are ways that I can embody a scholarly type of energy. And those are the things that I'm looking to do as far as helping me to guide myself towards more of a scholarly aligned person. Also, I feel like somebody who's scholarly, a lot of times we think about teachers, right? And when we think about teachers, this makes so much sense for me because I feel like teachers are always so knowledgeable, especially on the subject area, of course, that they chose. So you're not going to ask a math teacher about history. You're not going to ask a history teacher about science. So for me, I just want to be somebody who's very well informed on things like travel, personal development, as well as, you know, kind of like lifestyle stuff like fitness and eating healthy and stuff like that. I want to be somebody who's very informed about that so that I can share that knowledge with you guys. I wouldn't be able to sit down and do these videos if I didn't do the research, if I wasn't curious to know, how did I do this? How can you do this? So that I can share that with you guys. So this and being able to talk to you guys like this is definitely something that's a part of the person that I want to become and embody through her scholarly personality, her scholarly traits, because she learns so much that it's like impossible to just keep it all up here. Like, she has to share. And that's exactly what I feel like I do with YouTube. I have to share what I know because I want to not only uplift myself, but I also want to uplift people who are on the same journey as me. So cool, scholarly. I love to see it. So let's go ahead and jump to the second word, which is presidential. Now, when I think presidential, of course, shout out my man Barack. Let's shout him out, Mr. Tan Suit. Okay, don't play with that boy. I also think people like Kamala Harris, even though, like, I'm not really just trying to list presidential candidates and previous presidents right now. I also think of very well off, even like musicians who carry themselves well. When I think about presidential, not only do I think about U.S. presidents, of course, people with great power, people with great responsibility and who handle it well. I think about the leaders, just even in my everyday life. Like, I think that my man is very presidential. He's a boss. He does what he has to do, but the power that he's given, of course, it doesn't go to his head. He uses that accordingly. He delegates tasks when he needs to. He asks for help when he needs to, but he still handles business. So when I think about presidential, I think about, yes, somebody who's a boss, but I also think about somebody who's a leader, somebody who is put together, somebody who knows a lot about a lot, which is where that scholarly comes into play, and somebody who's just very overall diplomatic, easy to talk to, because I think that the best quality of a leader is somebody who just understands, and somebody who is easy to talk to, who helps you to make the change, and somebody you can go to. You know what I'm saying? So I really just chose presidential this year because I really want to become more of a leader in my own life. And that comes to, putting me first on my fitness journey, on my goals, as well as just down to the way that I dress. Like, the way that I dress, I want somebody to look and be like, she's very well put together. And she's a very distinguished person. She's very authoritative. She's very regal. She's very noble. Anyway, so some of the ways that I'm looking to embody this in my life, right? I told you guys I want to do it with my goals, but I am looking to be more intentional with starting my own business as well as my content creation journey. And the ways that I'm doing this is really taking action towards the steps and the results that I want to see instead of just hoping that they come to me. Now, ways that I see myself doing this is having structure and discipline. Not only motivation, because we all know that motivation fades over time. What we really need is structure. What we really need is discipline. This looks like me sitting down at the beginning of the week and making sure that my Google Calendar reflects the week that I want to have. If I don't see gym in there at least 4 times out the week, then I need to do some edits. I need to rearrange the schedule to make sure that it's a place or it's in the way that I want it to look. That's one thing, as well as just being more intentional about making sure that I'm talking to you guys every single week. I want to be coming at you guys and hold me accountable every single week with new episodes. Well, episodes like this is a podcast, but new videos on YouTube. And I want to be consistent on my fitness journey and making sure that I'm leading the life, being the leader of my own life. I want to take action to make sure that I have no excuse at the end of the year for why my goals didn't happen because I let somebody else take the wheel. I just sat in the back seat and was like, I guess this person's leading today, and making sure that I'm on top of my habits. So when I think of somebody who's presidential, who is very authoritative, who's a leader, who's very regal, they have amazing habits, right? They wake up on time, they go to sleep on time, they read, they're knowledgeable, and I want to make sure that I have the habits that I need in order to continue to be that person. So that person, she goes to the gym, she's well dressed, she makes sure that she gets dressed every single morning. She has a morning and a night routine to help with decompressing and getting her day started. She journals, she takes her supplements, she drinks her water. You guys heard it. Drink your water, sis. She drinks her water, and so on and so forth. You guys see where I'm going? And also, I want to talk about saying yes. So a lot of times we say no to things that scare us. I'm gonna get close to y'all because I want us to be eye to eye. We say no because we're scared, because we might not feel like we're aligned yet for that opportunity, but always remember that the opportunity would not have been presented in the first place if God didn't think you were ready for it, or if the universe didn't think that you were ready for it, because at the end of the day, there's nobody else who is more capable than you. It's always going to be you versus you. And you have to get out of your own head when you're presented opportunities to get better, when you're presented opportunities to excel, to make more money even. The only person stopping you from accomplishing that goal, to being ready, to making sure that you can step into the person that you need to be, the only person stopping you is you. So say yes more often. Now, I don't mean like it's 9 o'clock at night, your friend calling you up talking about some, girl, let's go outside. Like, it's supposed to be lit tonight, and you know you got to get up in the morning. We're not saying yes to that. Okay, that's not the yes that I'm talking about. We're talking about the yes that your manager is like, I would really like you to step into this role a little bit more. I found that, after watching you for a couple of months, you have great leadership skills. I would love for you to share that with the team. Now, of course, I need you to talk about that money aspect, sis, because if you're going to be taking on more responsibilities, you need to get paid as such. But I am saying, say yes. It might feel uncomfortable, but how are you supposed to grow? How are you supposed to evolve and become the person that you want to be if you're not willing to be uncomfortable? Uncomfortability is the number one key to growth and to success. Do you think that it feels comfortable to be the president of the United States? Do you think that that's comfortable? Do you think that that's comfortable? Like, genuinely, I think that would be the most uncomfortable position in the entire world. It probably is the most uncomfortable position, but people say yes to the opportunity not only because they know that that's going to help them, but they also know that it's going to help the people around them. You would be selfish to say no, especially if somebody's asking you to step into a position of leadership because they see capability and power in you. You would be selfish to say no because you're not letting your light shine with others. You're not letting other people experience the goodness that is you, the skills, the knowledge that you have to offer other people. Say yes, you guys. Just say yes. Okay, cool. Now I'm done with presidential. I feel like I got into a little bit of a rant there. So we're going to go ahead and move to number 3, which is radiant. I kind of gave you guys the example earlier. When we think of radiant, I think of the sun, and the sun is very radiant. When I was in middle school and high school, I used to always get called sunshine, smiley, because I literally would just walk around smiling. Why? I don't know. I was just a happy person. And I feel like over the course of, college, postgraduate, that stuff got real. It got real quick. And I feel like that light really got dimmed. And the only reason it got dimmed was because of me. It was because of my negative self-talk. It was the way that I was talking to myself. Really, everybody else could have said what they wanted to say, and that just would have contributed more to the self-talk that I was giving myself at the time. So the only person to blame for that is me at the end of the day. Yes, there could be external factors, but at the end of the day, the only person who could really bring the light out in you is you. And I lost a little bit of my light. I'm not going to say I'm just a dull person now. Like, I'm not going to say that at all. If we were at a scale of 1 to 10, I feel like I probably went down to like a 5.5, 6, and I could get back up to a 10 basically. But I want to get back to a 10, if not BMS, breaking my scale, period. So I definitely will say radiance is a word that I'm looking to embody. I want somebody to have an encounter with me and just feel so much better. Like they can go the rest of the day and just smile because, even if it was just 2 minutes of us talking in a grocery store, they could think about that moment and be like, wow, that was really nice. I really enjoyed meeting this person, even if they don't know my name. I definitely want to embody the word radiance. So the way that I am looking to embody radiance, it starts internally. It starts with the physical. It starts with the mental, the emotional, the spiritual. There's a lot of aspects that I feel like matter when it comes to wanting to embody the word radiance. So the first thing I want to talk about is just my physical health. We all know that when you are consistent in a fitness routine, it helps to boost that serotonin levels, which indeed make you happier. So I want to make sure that I'm staying consistent in the gym because I do get down on myself when I don't go to the gym. Like, if I don't have a successful week in the gym, and when I say successful, I mean showing up. That's the most important thing to me, just showing up. Even if I walk on that treadmill for just 30 minutes and I'm like, okay, I'm done. I showed up. I went. I did something. I was active. So showing up to the gym, doing what I have to do for my physical health to make sure that I am proud of myself at the end of the week. If you don't know, I'm a pescatarian, so I do live a pescatarian lifestyle, which is making sure that I have, a good source of protein. Usually that does come from fish. So like salmon, cod, tuna is really good. And I also have been doing the Beyond Impossible meats and stuff like that. However, recently a couple friends of mine told me that probably wasn't the best. So I'm probably going to reel that back in. So ignore that part at least. But I do live a pescatarian lifestyle, meaning that I do fish is my primary source of protein. So making sure that I stick to that. I'm hitting my protein goals. I'm drinking my water. I'm trying to drink like 80 ounces of water a day. So I think that if I stick to that, that will help, especially like even with my skin. Like you see somebody and their like skin is glowing. Me, that's what I want to be. My inner glow, getting more in touch with myself, like mindfulness, being able to sit down and, do my journal entries every night. Even if I'm not feeling like writing a whole 2 paragraphs, I always make sure that I try and do my 3-3-3 method, which is 3 things that happened today that made me happy, 3 things that I'm grateful for, and my 3 intentions for tomorrow. We could dive deeper into that in another video, but this 3-3-3 method has definitely helped a lot. It makes me feel really good going into the next day, because not only do I have things that happen in my day that I have to look forward to, like the happy moments, but also I have goals for the next day. Like before I even wake up, I've already set 3 intentions going into the next day. So I have those things that I'm working towards, goals that I'm looking to accomplish just on a daily level. So that's a way that I help with my mindfulness and journaling. I also want to practice meditation. I've really been looking to get into that. So I might add that to something that I do on a weekly basis. Like even if it's just like 3 times a week, the same that I do at the gym. I really think even if it's just before bed, it can't be before or right when I wake up, because I'm the type of person to probably fall asleep during the meditation. So it can't be when I first wake up, because I am one of those people who is so tired in the mornings. Like if I wake up to an alarm, I don't know what it is, but it just is so tiring to me. I need to do some research just to see what that is and if there's some fixes to that. But those are things that I am looking to do as far as mindfulness goes in order to help me with that. And then spirituality is 1, getting more in tune with myself, and then 2, also being more aligned with what I feel like my purpose is that God has set out for me, and being intentional about seeking him out in the way that I want to, not the way the internet wants to, but the way that I want to, okay? And I'm not going to even say too much about that, because I don't want you to feel influenced by something that I'm doing. So that is how my spiritual as well as physical and emotional kind of goals have aligned with the way that I am looking to embody radiance within the next year. Some ways I'm looking to show up as radiant are through, my videos, where people, they find these videos and they're like, wow, like she has a really cool personality. I really enjoy spending these 20-30 minutes with her. I'm looking forward to the next one. Things like that. The way that I dress, I am looking to get away from the blacks, the grays. I'm looking to put a little bit of color back in my wardrobe, because I'm not gonna lie, when I do laundry, that black load is always the biggest low. So I'm trying to work on that. Let's make sure it's colors this year. Not to hate on black now, because black is elegance, okay? But I don't want to wear black every day, because when you do that every day, then it's like, okay, we're straying away from the elegance aspect and giving more of something else. So stuff like that, as well as, what I share online, I want to make sure it's uplifting, it's helping other people, it's helping other people grow and glow, you know what I mean? So those are some ways I'm looking to show up as radiant, as well as presidential and even scholarly, through my content, through who I am in person, through meeting me and things like that. So let's conclude here. I want to ask you guys, I'm very curious, what are the 3 words that you guys feel will help you on your rebrand, to helping you embody the person that you are looking to become? What are your 3 words? I want to know. Drop them in the comments below. I would love to hear the 3 words that you come up with. If you liked one of my words, I would like to know, because I got some words in the archives now, y'all. If I need to switch it up for Q2, I can, because it's all trial and error, right? You try something and it doesn't really fit, so you switch it up. So I'm very curious, what are you guys' words, and how are you going to use those words that you've come up with and integrate that into your everyday life? How can you show up in your everyday life as those 3 words for you? This year is going to be very exciting in terms of my progress and showing up online. You guys know that I think about YouTube as like a diary. So every time that I post, it's like a diary entry to me, and I'm like, ooh. So I'm so excited because I've actually made so much more intention and action behind showing up online, not only for myself, but also for you guys, because I was looking at my statistics the other day, and the videos where I'm actually talking about helping you guys out tend to get more views. So I'm really excited because I really want to help more people beyond just me, because of course a diary entry helps because you can go back and reflect, but also because sometimes it's good to get my thoughts out of my head and into the atmosphere. And it's also good to know that I'm helping people in the process. So if this video has helped you at all, if there's other things that you would like to see from me, or for me to do some research on so that I can tell you guys about it, just let me know in the comment section. I would love to have a chat with you. We love talking in the comment section. So make sure to, tell me your 3 words, or tell me something that you want to look into. The next thing that I have planned for you guys is the 5 books that have helped me in my glow up journey, or on my journey to glowing up. And I'm so excited because that is going to help you really establish, better habits, better mindsets, and things of that nature, break old patterns and venture into new ones, so that you too can be on your journey to a better version of yourself. And that really kind of goes into like the scholarly part of me that I'm looking to embody this year. So definitely stay tuned for that video, which is coming out in the next week. Okay. And other than that, I did want to leave you guys with a little inspiration before I send you off. Okay. I just want you guys to remember that reinvention is not about changing who you are. It's about uncovering who you're meant to be. Every single day is a chance to step closer to the person that you are most aligned with and meant to be. So this year, make the conscious decision to be bold, to be consistent, and to let your light shine brighter than ever. Let's get together, y'all. Let's make 2025 the best year so that we can all become people that we've all dreamed of being our entire lives. The women that we are looking to embody, the women that we have been wanting to become for so long. I'm so excited to be on this journey with you guys. Now, once again, if you have made it to the end of the video, I definitely really appreciate you so much. Be sure to leave a thumbs up, heart this video, to suggest to the algorithm that this is a great video for other viewers who are looking to reinvent themselves for 2025, that this is a great video for them to watch. And if you are returning, thank you again for all the love. I love you guys so much, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye.